What's going on, Dark Magical community, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys my updated Burning Abyss deck list for the June 2022 format. What's going on, guys, and thank you all for being here with me today. As you saw in the introduction, today I'm going to be showing you guys my Burning Abyss deck profile for the June 2022 format. So before we jump into this, as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. It just motivates me to make more deck profiles, more Dark Magician Journey videos, more Yu-Gi-Oh! Journey videos, more hero content, BA, all things of that nature. And also, if you haven't heard by now, my audiobook for Patrick Hoban's Road of the King will be coming out in the coming weeks, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. Now that we've got that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump straight into this deck. I've been playing this deck again for probably a little over a month. Sometimes I do just want to play some nostalgia games and see the formats that really made me fall in love with the game once again, and see if those decks can hold up in 2022 standard. So far, I haven't been very disappointed with the deck. I do feel like most of the losses that have occurred have actually been technical losses, rather so than the deck underperforming. So we're playing things that are a lot different. If you watched my last Burning Abyss deck profile, it's over on my friend TYP336's channel. Go ahead and go check him out, give him a subscribe. But things are a little bit different. I've been playing a lot more with the deck and learning what it takes to be able to keep up in 2022 with BA. So we'll go over all those things, but we're going to go ahead and go into the monster count first. So the non-official BA cards we play 2 Tour Guide. In my other list, I was playing 3. And I've come to the conclusion that you really just never want to open this card ever. If I open this card, it is basically me versus Ash, Imperm, and Valor. So there's never really a time I want to start with this. I tried going down to 1, and then it really stinks if you mill it, because you really want to have it on the follow-up to search off Scarm in the during the end phase, because if you can whittle them down on their turn, this card is just such a blowout when it comes back to you. So that's the reasoning for Devil Tour Guide. The slot for the 3rd Tour Guide was taken by Pankratops. So Pankratops obviously is one of the best going second cards in the game. This is a going second variant of BA, just like the other one. But Pankratops putting a lot of pressure and also attributing itself to not conflict with the BA cards is really huge. So Pankratops is very good being able to get problem cards out of the way. So those are the only non-official BA cards I play. We're going to get into discussions about that here in a few moments as well. So for the main BAs, we still are playing 3 Seer, 3 Scarm, and 3 Graph. This should basically always be the standard for your deck, unless you're playing something with like Orbital Hydrolander, which I think in those cases they play 2, 2, and 2. But for this deck, we always play 3. These are the best ones. They're all at 3. So that's why we play 3 of those. Those are your best grind cards. Going into the 2 ofs, only 2 of we play Double Farfa. So far, a 3rd one's never come up. I think 1 is too little. So far for me, 2 has been just right. I've really been liking Farfa. We also have 1 Alec, 1 Barbar, 1 Libic, and 1 Calcab. This has basically just become the standard for BA, as one of each of these guys. Their effects, this guy's effect for me doesn't come up a lot, but it's still a name. Then the rest of them are all obviously decent cards. Do keep in mind, if you play against like Flowanderies or Branded Despia, like let's just say they summon their Eaglin and declare Eaglin as Chainlink 1, you can Chainlink to a Beatrice, dump Alec. They'll go and resolve their search. Normally they're going to get their Rabina. They'll normal Rabina at the resolution of Eaglin, and then that from there makes a new Chainlink. So because they are turn player, their Rabina will be Chainlink 1, which can make your Alec Chainlink 2 to negate the Rabina. It works the same way with Branded Fusion. If they go Branded Fusion, you chain Beatrice in this. You can negate like their Mirror Jade or their Lubellian or whatever they summon. So that's actually a trick I didn't know for a while, and it definitely comes up almost to the point where I've considered playing a 2nd Alec. Okay, this is what's weird. So I do not play Fiendish Rhino Warrior, and basically the reasoning for not playing Fiendish Rhino Warrior is the Sword Soul matchup is the hardest matchup for the deck. Game 1, is very difficult to win against Sword Soul, and Rhino just makes that even worse. I never want to draw Rhino against Sword Soul. If I go normal Rhino, right, and I go activate effect, special summon BA, the first thing they're going to do is Shi Zhao my Rhino, and then I've just lost the game because I've essentially locked myself out of playing. So I do agree in a build that's made to go first that you should always play 2 to 3 Rhino Warrior. There's no reason not to. But in a build that's purely made to go second, get a Dante, attack through, and establish Zeus, it's really not that great because you're essentially going to be flooding yourself out a lot of the time. So how we counteract that is I played 1 Dragig, 1 Rubik, and 1 Cogna in the places of the Rhino Warrior. So basically this gives us the same amount of bodies within the deck, but it gives us more extension without having to worry about getting shut off by something like Valor, Imperm, or Shi Zhao. I don't play Virgil, this is just a name. I don't play any spells or traps to send off Cogna. Every now and again you'll stack off of Dragig, but these slots were great. I never missed Rhino Warrior a single time since I've took it out. You know, you can play like, say like maybe take this out and play 1 Rhino Warrior so you have a Cherubini bridge to send like your token collector. But we'll also get into that later why I'm not playing Cherubini. But if you want to adapt this to like a going first variant, you can do like take these out, put in your Rhino Warriors, and like take this out and put in maybe say like the 3rd tour guide or anything that you feel as if you should be playing. This slot, honestly, if you're going to try to play this as go first, should probably be Fairy Tale Snow. Fairy Tale Snow is in my side deck for this deck, for the games that I either think they're going to make me go first, or there's the games that I feel like I need to go first. So that's normally what I take out, is this for the snow. So that's the BA monsters. I hope that does make sense for everyone. In testing, this has been much better for me than playing Rhino Warrior because you're not so much relying on, you're not really relying so much on your opponent just not realizing what Rhino Warrior does and negating it, so, and then flooding yourself out. Spells are very similar. I still play Double Desire. I hope we get this card back to 3 on the next list. This card is so good in this deck. Utility card that I wasn't playing, but I've come around to playing is Foolish Burial, just because Foolish Burial in this deck is so versatile. So Foolish Burial can be an effect negate. It can be a summon from hand, like say you have to start with Tour Guide and they stop it, you can summon like another BA from your hand. It can be a back row bounce. It can be a burn anywhere from 3 to 9. It can be a monster banish, a summon from deck, in-face search, or a graveyard special. So Foolish Burial is a card that I really missed out on playing in the previous weeks. And I haven't actually drawn this card yet, but I mean the theory is there, so I think there's no reason to not play Foolish. Now, another card I'm playing, since the deck is primarily go second, is I do play Change of Heart. And a lot of folks ask me, like, does this conflict, you know, with your BA cards? And honestly, the answer is really no, because most of the time, if you draw this turn 1 going second, most of the time you just use this to trade a negate with something. So it forces Mirror Jade to banish itself, it forces Barone to negate, things of that nature. But if you draw this in the mid to late game, it can be it can be a very devastating card. So once again, I still haven't drawn this either. I haven't seen, these are the only 2 cards in the deck I have not seen yet. So I can't really give you guys a lot of input as far as how they've been working out. But I'll keep this deck profile updated as often as I can and keep you guys updated on whether or not I think Change of Heart belongs. For our effect negation, we still play 3 Droplet, 3 Chalice, and 3 Impermanence. But since we have also added 3 Regeki into this mix. So basically, these slots were effect veilers. We're not going to go too in-depth over these because these are very good. Everyone knows what they do. But these were originally effect veilers. And like I said, now that Sword Soul is going for the draw 2 combo with Qing Long Yang and Shi Zhao, this card just punishes them just so hard. Just Regeki over their entire field, and you shut off the blackout as well. You're free to play from there. But also, like, Regeki plus Chalice or Droplet just breaks any field. So far, these have been working out really good. If I wanted to change them back for Valor, or if you wanted to do that for your build, you absolutely could. But so far, triple Regeki has been really good. And then the last cards are 3 Ash, which I don't really consider a monster because you'll never summon it in this build. But, you know, it's more of a trap card, and Ash is just very good right now. So that's the main deck. It is 40 cards. And we're going to get into this extra deck here. And a lot of people have asked me questions about some things, so we're going to go over some things here. So we have Utopic, the Utopic package. Bounce back and forth. These guys really don't come out a lot. but sometimes they do come up, and the extra deck is pretty free space, so we can make it work here. So the next card is we're BA and we play 3 Dante. Yes, I really do think you need 3. This deck is not the very fast-paced deck that it once was, so it requires you to go into the grind game a lot more than it used to, and the 3rd one does come up, and sometimes you want a 4th one, but that just comes into properly managing resources, like using a Dante to put back a Dante if you have to. But very, very good. Have to play 3. The next card to play 3 of is you play 3 Zeus. We're trying to control the game through Zeus, make really big format Zeuses, and just control the game through there. We also play Double Downward Magician. Once again, the same thing. I have actually learned sometimes, like let's just say, for example, if I have a Dante on the field, right, and it's attached with 2 materials, and I go Dante effect, detach 1 mil 3, and I go attack into something, even though it's weird, I will still make a 3-mat Zeus, just because if I Zeus them on my turn, and I have another card on my field, let's say they destroy it, then you can use Zeus's effect to put another card on Zeus, so you're back to having another use for a Zeus. So that's something that it's really weird, like I said, but it does come up sometimes, and sometimes you do need to do that, especially if you're going to set like your Droplet or your Chalice or your Imperm, and they Twin Twister it does come up there. The next 3 we have Beatrice, which is obvious. We have Pilgrim. People do not respect this at all. Normally they think that you're not playing this and they just blow this up. Used to be the exact opposite. People just assume you're playing targets, so a lot of people didn't play this card. But every time this card's summoned, normally you win. Then we play Break Sword. And then the last 2 cards are 2 cards that I have went back and forth on since the beginning of me coming back to playing BA. And after my last tournament, I have just come to the conclusion that you have to play them, and that is D2D Stone King Darius and D2D Devicer King Deuce Machine X. So these cards are very important. Not only in the games where you go first is this really good to make on turn 1, because you can essentially just take your opponent's cards from them. This comes up against the Sword Soul field because their cards are just so huge. So like even if you droplet them for 2, or not if you droplet them, but even if you, like, let's say you have Imperm Chalice, they're both negated, but they're still so big that there's nothing in your extra deck that you can do to be able to actually attack them and be able to establish a Zeus, unless you do something weird, like manage to summon 2 Dantes and make utopic. But normally you're not in that good of a position, especially because you're still having to respect Sword Soul Blackout as well. So if you can stick 2 BA cards and then make this guy and then run over one of them and then like Zeus away the rest of the field, it's much more manageable. So I think these are 100% needed. I will never cut them again. All day playing against Sword Soul, I would have beaten every Sword Soul I played against if I had kept these in. I ended up trying to play Link monsters, and in this build it's just not worth it. So a lot of people have been asking me, what does this deck do going first? Like they say, oh, this deck has no go first game. This deck actually has a lot of go first game. And the reason behind that is because never in game 1 are you ever going to be made to go first. If you win the die roll, you're going second. If you lose the die roll, you're going second. So you don't have to worry about a going first game in this deck in game 1. Now, obviously, there might be certain exceptions for that. Like there might be times when you're both playing a going second deck, but that's just bad luck. 90% of Yu-Gi-Oh decks want to go first, so you do not have to worry about making a deck that can set up a field turn 1 if you are going to be going second. That's where your side deck comes in for this one. That's why I said you side deck things like Fairy Tale Snow, Dimensional Barrier, Anti-Spell Fragrance, whatever. And then your normal turn 1 field, you can set up like, say, a Dante and a Beatrice with like this guy. Which you can do also in game 1 if they do for some reason make you go first. You play so many BA cards, it's definitely achievable to be able to get there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like I said, I'm still in the early testing stages of BA. It does feel good to be back on BA again after being off of it for so long. If you have any suggestions or any helpful tips, please let me know. I'll take them all into consideration, and hopefully we can come up with a good Burning Abyss deck for 2022. All right, guys, thank you all for watching. Once again, this is Mike from Dark Magical Gaming signing out until the next one. Take care, everyone.